Welcome to this session of Management and Information System. In this session, we are going to learn more about various management levels. In fact, in the last session, we started discussing about this. Today, we are going to deep dive and understand top level managers, middle level managers, and low level managers. Then we are going to discuss about managerial challenges, management role, decisional roles, interpersonal roles, and informational roles, and how exactly these roles have implications on long-term and short-term planning, how information plays role in planning and policy making. Further, we'll also be discussing about functional areas of management and information systems, information system capabilities for strategic advantage. Now, when we look at all the topics what we listed now, we understand, till now we made an effort to understand information systems, information technology, and then managerial significance in decision making. Now, how can information play an important role? Do managers at all level have access to the same information? These are some of the things what we need to discuss in this session. Management levels consists of top level, middle level and operational level, or what we call it as lower level. Usually the top level management consists of C-suite managers whom we call as like chief executive officers, chief technology officers, chief operation officers, or it might also be something like a managing director, president, vice president, board of directors. Managers at this level make long-term plans and they take a lot of strategic decisions. Now, if you look at the slides, the top level managers are mostly involved in strategic level, which consists of senior management officers. And just now, as we discussed, what are the various, roles like managing director, president, CEO, COO, and they are responsible for making policies and vision, we said. Now, when an organization is looking for long-term planning, top level managers are the people who need, external environment information to take these decisions. Now, the business intelligence or the business information system, which is created by the organization, needs to facilitate that information for these top level managers. Probably the managers at this level will require the current affairs, the information about their stakeholders, external factors like political, economic, socio-cultural, legal, technological developments, what is happening in the market, and how that could be connected to their internal stakeholders like employees and companies. All the information pertaining to this needs to be accumulated or supplied in time. In one of the previous discussions, we said information should be timely, information should have relevant content, and information should be supplied to that concerned authority or person. Now, the top level managers not only look for information outside the organization, the information also flows from bottom-up method, like the one what we see in the pyramid. The information from the operations level flows to the middle level, and from the middle level it comes to the top level management. Now, this information needs to be summarized and presented in the form of a infographics or as a chart or as a dashboard for these top level managers to make quick decisions. Now, moving forward from the strategic roles, the top managers who make policies and long-term planning, these long-term plans are broken into medium and short-term plans from the middle level management. Now, let us look into the middle level manager levels. Now, middle level managers are those managers at the tactical level. They're just below the top level managers. They're responsible for converting goals into action plans, and they are the interface between the top level and the lower level managers. They provide valuable information to top managers to help improve the organization's bottom line. The middle level managers, they are perhaps the most interesting ones as they cover the information shared between teams, divisions and business units. Now, the middle level managers have a very important role to play. The reason being they have to understand the information which is flowing from top down, so they become the middle layer, or they have to also process the information which is flowing from the bottom up method, or what we call it as grassroots method. So the lower level managers who perform certain activities might generate information which needs to be flowed up to the top management. Now it's quite challenging for the middle level managers and they require more access. Now they need to have authentication to access higher level data as well as the lower operational level data. Now it is important to note that middle level managers need to be very interactive and processing the information to and fro or up and down very quickly. You need certain softwares which are very specific and customizable for these layers of managers. Personalized specifications on dashboards would enable them to make quick decisions. Now, moving forward to the lower level managers. They are also called as first line managers or operational level managers. They are responsible for daily management of organizational activities. Though they do not set goals, they strongly influence organizations' work process. We need to understand the lower level managers or the frontline managers are the people who execute the work in day-to-day operations. Now these people generate lot of data or they are the source of data generation. Now in such a situation, they are mostly handling application softwares or tools through which the data is flowing. They do not have any control on changing the data format or the structures. Let us say a frontline manager who is taking some inputs at the retail counter from the customer can only enter the data and he will not have any authority to change the data there. So it becomes the responsibility of the organizations to ensure that these structural formats from where the first level data is generated, which later becomes a strong information base, is curated well, formatted, validated, and then processed. Now, when we look at the lower level operations, there are many operations per day, and usually transaction processing systems are used at this level. Very shortly, we'll be taking some examples to understand that. Now, if we look at this diagram, we also understand the amount of time spent by different managerial levels and what sort of management functions are they getting involved. Now, when you look at this picture, it is very clear in the organizational hierarchy, top level managers are spending majority of time in planning and organizing, while the first line supervisors or the lower level managers are spending majority of the time in executing things. So you see like they have leading and organizing as well as the middle level managers, you see that time is equally distributed. Now when you look at the coordination, you see top level managers are, taking control of middle level and they in turn they're controlling the lower level managers. Now the next table gives us a clear picture about how the decision complexity lies. We will also consider some examples in this. Now, when you look at this chart, it is very clear the strategic roles are there with the top level managers and the complexity is very high. Usually, the information which is available might be like not exactly in full format, and this leads to what we call as unstructured decisions. So they have to take high risk and go ahead and do some decisions. You can see like market expansion and mergers and investments, portfolio managements, some strategic decisions related to the whole organizations are listed here. In the middle level management, we have tactical decisions where the complexity and risk is moderate. Budget allocation and project planning are set of examples for this. Now, what we need to understand here is the middle level managers are already involved in the planning process. They are the creamy layer between the top level, already we said. So, what they do is they're already having a kind of insight into the plan, what is coming. So, they take the plan, process, and execute it to the down layers. Now, at the lower level management, it is mostly the short term focus with very low complexity and risk, and they are involved in certain activities which are involved to day tasks like scheduling, quality, and control. Now, this is where most of the transaction processing systems come into the picture, or lower level executive information systems come into the picture. Now, all these three layers are important and they need to be integrated, well coordinated to form a meaningful informational structure which is going to be useful for the whole organization. Moving forward, let us understand what are the managerial challenges for information systems. It is not like just information is generated in the computer and people can just look at the computer and take the decision. It is like strategic management issues pertaining to aligning business strategy with market trends. Now, these market trends or factors are the factors which are lying outside the business environment. And it is not easy for the managers to control these factors, and hence they are called as uncontrollable factors or macro factors. What the managers can do is they just can observe at that happenings or occurrings, bring that data or information and pour into the organization to make suitable decisions. We need to understand the information system is only like a facilitator here and not an influencer. The information system channels of communications and the designing needs to be in such a way that it absorbs this data from the external environment. Only then it's going to be useful for the top level managers when they look at that particular information. Apart from this, they also have other challenges like managing innovation and stability, which is a continuous thing in the outside market. You need to be reinventing yourself. Business process re-engineering needs to occur. You need to look into the existing process and re-engineer the process, align it to the new trends, and still maintain the consistency what was occurring during your current business process. Most of the organization lose that balance of transformation in this stage. So business process re-engineering helps maintain stability, and it needs to be a planned transition from the old process to the new process. We need to have right set of information systems integrated with the business process re-engineering. Now, when we say managing global teams, most of the organizations today who are operating beyond geographies in different parts of the world, they come with different types of culture, technology. So it is quite challenging for the organizations to integrate these people, train them. Managing global teams is one of the biggest challenges for the managers. The reason is these people come from diversified backgrounds with a technological knowledge, cultural patterns, and organization systems. So, an information system which can establish a uniform communication channel and facilitate to achieve, the flow of information could be one tool which can act as an agent in bringing integrity in managing global teams. Now, let us continue the discussion with various managerial roles. We have different managerial roles like the decisional roles, interpersonal roles, and informational roles. Now, when you look at this pyramid, so the information system is categorized as a top level, middle level, and operational level. And the top level managers usually take long-term decisions, long-term strategic planning decisions like framing policies, setting goals, vision, and this is what is distributed to the down layers. And then hence we call it as decisional roles. Now, similarly, when you look at the middle level management, they are the ones who take the information and transform, and hence it is called as transformational roles or interpersonal roles. We have the down hierarchy, which is mostly dealing with business processes and operations of day-to-day tasks, and they need lot of support or tools which can help them process the data. So they play majorly the informational roles. So these three roles, whether it's decisional role or interpersonal role or the informational roles, all the three roles needs to be aligned through the information system channel to facilitate the data flow to and fro in the organization structure to make the information system more efficient. Only then, the data is in right place, which helps to process the information, and any of these managers from different level, when they look at the data, it's going to be easy for them to, grab the data or make a quick decision from that data. The next topic for discussion is functional areas of management. Now, till now, we were discussing about management levels. Now, throughout these three levels of management, there are various functional areas in every business units. To understand better, let us take these examples. When we consider the earlier examples which we have been discussing, like the hospital or banking, we might classify functional areas something like this. In a bank, we might have accounting, financing, marketing, operations, IT, security, and further other functional areas which are running from lower level to the top level, as you see in the pyramid. Now, the same structure need not be applicable to all business units or business sectors. In the second example, where we were considering healthcare as an example from our previous discussions, the functional areas of an hospital could be something like this. We might have, laboratory management system, clinical imaging system, pharmacy, or something like blood bank information system. Maybe they have to supply food, so we have food and beverages section. And when we look at the medical requirements, all this set of information might be, the crucial part which run from the lower level to the top level, like operation theater or hospital resources management. Everything from the equipment to the bed to the doctor's availability needs to be, synced or organized from the lower level to the top level. Now, it's very difficult to identify them as top level, middle level, and lower level. So, a typical structure might have certain complexities like this in understanding where do they fall, like whether they fall in middle level or lower level. So, we understood that the functional areas are not same in all type of business. And in both the examples what we were considering, we did not see at manufacturing or productions or supply chain as a functional area. So we need to consider few more examples where we can understand if the information system is applicable in a manufacturing unit with all the functional areas what we discussed. We might also have manufacturing information systems or production information systems or supply chain information systems. Now, when we consider the second example, we understood that in a hospital setup, we did not find all those, production or operations, supply chain functional areas. So we need to consider few examples which can give us a clear idea, like the functional areas could vary and they could consider different set of things inside an organizational structures based on the type of organization. In general, most organizations consist these functional areas. The information needs to integrate these functional areas of management and facilitate the decision making. They are sales and marketing, manufacturing and production, accounting and finance, human resources, administration, research and development, and we can add the list with whatever activities or functional areas are existing in that particular organizational setup. If we were considering an education institution as an example, we might have to add admissions department, library, or something else like sports facilities, canteen facilities, under food and beverage maybe. So all these could be the functional areas in an education institution. Since most of us connect to our student life, we understand, okay, these were some of the functional areas which were still very, very important. And it is very difficult to understand in a smaller or a medium enterprise where is the middle layer and where is the lower layer, because the institution size and the volume of operations also matters. So there are such complexities when you try to dissect and understand the functional areas of management and then build an information system integrating the process. Now, in this process of information system integration with the functional areas or management functions, the data is generated and disseminated into multiple networks or multiple points. In such situation, the data needs to be recorded, stored, or in some cases, a reporting system needs to be created. So it is not only sufficient that there is a business intelligence system which is taking the data, processing and keeping the data. It is also important to generate these reports and forward it to the respective computer systems or counters or to the respective individuals. Now, some of the reports which are generated in the day-to-day business activities are periodic reports, exception reports, push reports, and demand reports. Now, all these reports play an important role. The reason is you can't store all the information in soft copies, or you can't take all the information as a hard copy and print it and store it as manual. So the information system also has to decide what part of the data should be printed or stored or processed and forwarded to the respective, counters or departments or points to enable those people for decision making. Now it looks like a miracle when an information of e-commerce, purchasing reflects on multiple points. Imagine you purchasing one product as a customer going to online website. You get a message, you are talking to the bank. You use a payment integration, and then there is a supply chain, and then there is one seller who is sending you the product, and the logistics person is coming to your door and delivering the product. It could be you or anybody at the home who is receiving the product who authenticates the receipt of goods or parcel, whatever has been ordered. And in this whole process, all the functional areas what we were discussing is coming into the picture. So it's quite difficult to show all those possibilities in one pyramid or one structure what we are discussing. In reality, it is scattered and the operations are widely spread and interconnected. And that is possible with the help of information system which generates data as and when activities are occurring and reflects to multiple parties who are the process of that particular activity. Now the chart here describes various functional activities which occurs in any organization. When you look at the sales and marketing, you see like there are marketing research reports which are generated from sales activities like sales support to keep customers records, telemarketing or order processing or invoices, supply data for sales analysis, inventory control, etc. Similarly, in the manufacturing and production systems, you might have materials resource planning systems, purchase order control systems, engineering systems, quality control systems, or inventory management. In accounting and finance systems, you might come across certain activities like income statements, balance sheets, general ledger, etc. which are concerned with the accounting functions. It might also include something like cash management systems, payroll systems, accounts receivables, and payable systems. We are just trying to take some examples. So in HR systems also you have certain activities oriented towards compensation management, training and development system, personal record keeping system, employee tracking system. Now, since we were discussing about how the activities occur majorly in the down layer or lower level of management, transaction processing systems enable lot of data generation and recording, accumulation, processing at that layer. So it might be something like batch processing or real-time processing, and we discussed about transaction processing systems in classification of information systems. So we need to recall that when a business situation requires the data to be processed immediately, we might opt for real-time processing. And when there is bulk volume of transactions which can wait for certain period and process at a time, we go for batch processing. So any of these information systems which are created needs to facilitate all the functional areas and connect them and enable the data flow from one point to another point to make timely decisions. Moving forward, let us look into the benefits of information systems as a strategic advantage. Information system helps to improve the productivity. It helps in reducing cost, facilitate decision making, facilitate collaboration, enhance customer relationships, develop new strategic applications. Now, all these benefits are not for one layer or one functional area or for one department or individual. These benefits are spread across the organization layers and integrated in such a way. A simple thing like when we said facilitate collaboration, it is integrating all the layers of management. Reducing cost, possible with IT implications where initially you might find it as an investment, but over a period of time, technology simplifies a lot of processes. So we can say the information system helps in faster decision making and better resource management. Now let us look into few challenges in implementing information systems. One of the major challenges is data security and privacy issues. It is quite complex structure, and integrating a data security across the layers is quite challenging. Then if it is a business which is already existing, bringing the new business information system and integrating it as a part of the existing system is quite challenging. So it requires a meticulous way of transforming the old technology to the new technology without disturbing the current business process. And information systems implementation is always coming with a cost. So the organization needs to budget it and keep it ready whenever they want to, implement newly or transform, whichever is the case. Implementation costs are quite high because new technologies are going to cost slightly high in the beginning. If an organization wants to incorporate new technologies, then they definitely have to spend high. And there is this one important thing: resistance to change. Most of the employees in the organization or customers, even the management for that point, they resist for various reasons. Employees would have accustomed to the old procedures, customers would be very convenient with the existing information systems, and the management might not be willing to invest more again with the new implementations. Now all these things are going to be one of the challenges when we consider resistance to change. Now, having understood all this, let us look into the reference. These were the textbooks and reference sources. And let's now look into some interesting facts and a quick highlight of sessions. In this session, we discussed management levels, top level, middle level, and low level managers, managerial challenges, And then management role, decisional, interpersonal, and informational roles, functional areas of management, benefits for strategic advantage. Thank you.